Hey guys, today we travel back to a moment that changed Japan forever. And for you, it begins like any other unremarkable morning. You're 25 years old, living with your parents and teenage sister in a quiet coastal town in Miyagi Prefecture. The air smells like thawing earth and salty mist. Early March always has that weird between-seasons feeling, like winter and spring are arguing over who gets custody of your shoes. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your location and local time in the comments. I love seeing where you're all listening from. Have a nice day. The old rice cooker hisses. Your mom's humming a pop song from the 90s, off-key as always. Your dad's already headed out for his shift at the port. Container inspections, boring but steady. And your sister is complaining about school like it's a war zone. You joke that she should be grateful, at least her shoes match today. She rolls her eyes with the practiced grace of a 16-year-old who thinks you peaked in high school. You walk to the station in a light jacket, nodding at the same sleepy shopkeepers and passing the same rust-red vending machine you've kicked a dozen times. That one coffee can always gets stuck, and you still haven't learned. There's no warning, no tremor, no weird bird behavior, no apocalyptic clouds. Nothing to tip you off that in just hours, this whole landscape will be shredded like tissue paper. Miyagi sits on Japan's northeastern coast, part of the Tōhoku region, which you probably only ever thought about during typhoon season. But beneath your feet right now, something ancient and angry is shifting. The Pacific Plate is grinding beneath the Okhotsk Plate, building stress like a coiled spring under the seabed. And you're just trying to find your headphones. At lunch, the office group chat lights up with an article. Minor tremor felt off Fukushima coast. You snort. Earthquakes are a way of life here. You've slept through stronger ones. The building you're in is built on dampers. You've done the drills. And besides, you're more worried about your paycheck than tectonic stress. Like everyone else, you hit like on the post and scroll past. But there's a weird vibe in the afternoon. Your coworkers laugh a little too loud, the boss is pacing more than usual, and your hands won't stop sweating, even though the room isn't warm. One guy jokes, "Hey, if the big one hits, I call dibs on the vending machine." Everyone laughs. You pretend to laugh too, but your chest feels like it's bracing for a slap you can't see coming. And here's the thing. The Japanese Meteorological Agency had actually issued a tsunami advisory earlier that week. But not for anything massive. It was the usual, run-of-the-mill stuff that people in Miyagi have lived with for generations. It's like the neighborhood cat that hisses but never bites, until it does. Historians still argue whether the warning systems in place were tragically underpowered or if no system could have really prepared anyone for what was about to happen. Little fun fact, the day before, some fishermen reported unusually quiet sea behavior. No gulls, no splashes, just silence. One of them said the ocean looked like it was holding its breath. Nobody listened. You didn't either. You were too busy complaining that the coffee machine stole your 100 yen again. So you finish your shift, call your mom to ask about dinner, curry rice, your favorite, and hop on your bike to head home. The sky's clouded over now, a blanket of steel wool that mutes the colors of everything. You don't realize this will be the last ride through your neighborhood before it's erased. You don't even lock your bike. You're climbing the stairs to your house, peeling off your shoes, telling your sister to get off the Wi-Fi so you can stream a show, and then, at exactly 2:46 p.m., the world tilts sideways. It starts like any other quake. Short, punchy, the kind that rattles your windows and earns a few sarcastic comments about Japan things. But this time, the floor doesn't stop trembling. It deepens, it groans, and then it roars. You're thrown sideways, smacking into the sliding door frame as the tatami floor seems to roll beneath you. Plates leap from the kitchen shelf. Your sister screams from the upstairs hallway. You felt 100 quakes in your life, but nothing like this. This one feels furious. You scramble toward her, slipping on the glossy hardwood, ducking as a light fixture crashes from the ceiling. You grab her hand, both of you crouching under the kitchen table as your mom clings to the frame of the front door. It's instinct now. Drop, cover, hold. But you don't feel safe. The entire house is moaning like it's about to buckle. Outside, the neighborhood sounds like it's being torn in half. Glass shatters. Somewhere nearby, a gas line erupts with a deafening hiss. Sirens scream into existence. And underneath it all, the low, guttural rumble of the earth rearranging itself. You think of your dad. He's down by the port. The quake lasts over 5 minutes. 5 agonizing minutes. Enough time to feel every second crawl across your skin. When it finally stops, your legs are jelly and your ears are ringing. You run outside barefoot, heart pounding, to see the road cracked like old clay, phone poles leaning like drunken bamboo, and smoke already curling from somewhere down the block. But your phone's alive, a miracle. You call your dad. Nothing. You try again. Static. The networks are jammed. Every neighbor's doing the same thing, staring at their screens, dialing over and over, whispering names like prayers. You try not to think the worst. Your sister grips your arm so tightly your skin will bruise. The ground is still twitching with aftershocks, tiny, cruel reminders that it's not done with you yet. But then you hear it, the tsunami siren. It's an ugly sound, not dramatic, not cinematic, just this weird metallic wail like a dentist's drill from hell. You've heard it before in drills, even laughed at how annoying it is. You don't laugh now. Your mom yells, "Get to high ground." She's already pulling emergency packs from the Genkan cabinet, the one she's always begging you to organize. And you do what she says. You run. You don't even have time to process the full size of what's happened, but somewhere deep in your lizard brain, you know, this is no ordinary wave. This is the big one, the one whispered about in documentaries and late-night conversations, the one that was always probably centuries away. On March 11, 2011, a 9.0 megathrust earthquake struck off the coast of Honshu. It was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Japan, and the fourth most powerful in the world since 1900. It moved the main island 8 feet east. It shifted the planet on its axis, literally, by inches. Your sister can't stop crying as you sprint. She's lost a shoe, but you don't stop. The tsunami warning said 10 meters, maybe more. You've got 15 minutes tops. Some people still don't believe it's real. You pass a man on a bicycle heading toward the ocean. Maybe he's looking for someone. Maybe he doesn't believe the sea can hurt him. You glance back once, and you see it. It's not a wave, not like in movies. There's no curling surf, no white foam. It's black, flat, relentless. A wall of water taller than your house, filled with cars, trees, whole buildings. It doesn't crash, it devours. People still argue whether it was human complacency, technical failure, or just the sheer unimaginable scale of the event that caused so many to underestimate it. But you don't have time for theories. You're just running, dodging debris, screaming for strangers to follow you. One man does, another stops to film with his phone. You'll never know what happened to him. The water hits the edge of your street. Then it hits the house. Then the house is gone. You don't turn around again. Not now. Not when you can hear it chasing you. An avalanche of seawater, steel, and shattered lives. The ground slopes upward toward the local shrine on the hill, and your only thought is, get there. Your sister stumbles, her knees bloody from tripping over a loose gutter pipe, but you hoist her over your shoulder like adrenaline has given you superhero DLC. Behind you, the air has changed. It's not just the roar of the wave, it's the sound of everything being unmade. Its walls snapping like matchsticks. The groan of a cargo container scraping across asphalt. A car alarm that wails once, then is silenced forever. And weirdest of all, wind. Not from the sky, but sucked in by the rushing water like it's inhaling the entire town. At the shrine, a handful of survivors are already huddled. Elderly neighbors, a woman cradling a cat, a boy clutching a baseball glove like it'll protect him. You join them, panting, shaking, soaking wet from ankle-deep runoff. You can't see the wave now, but you can hear it, closer than ever. Then it hits. From above, the view is surreal. Your whole neighborhood, your street, your house, your memories are swallowed in seconds. The black tide rolls in like a living thing. Not fast like a bullet, but heavy like fate. And it brings everything with it. Propane tanks on fire, a roof spinning like a coin, a lone tatami mat floating sideways with 2 goldfish still flopping on it. You don't cry. Not yet. You just stare, eyes wide, because what else can you do when the world deletes itself in front of you? You hold your sister close, her hair tangled and sticky from sea spray. Somewhere down there is your father, your house, your bike, your entire life's furniture, all now part of a moving soup of memory and debris. People will call it the Great East Japan Earthquake, but what you remember most isn't the quake. It's this. Quick fact, the tsunami reached as far as 10 kilometers inland in some parts of Miyagi. It wasn't just a coastal flood, it was an oceanic invasion. Airports, farmlands, nuclear reactors, all of it washed into history. A man beside you mutters something. He says the ocean has taken its tax. That's what old fishermen used to say, that the sea demands balance. You don't believe in that. But right now, it's hard not to feel like something ancient just woke up and took offense at human civilization. Historians still debate whether Japan's extensive tsunami walls were partly to blame, giving a false sense of security that allowed people to stay behind instead of fleeing. The walls in your town stood maybe 3 or 4 meters tall. The wave, over 12. The sun begins to set, and with it comes the cold. Bitter, sharp, apocalyptic cold. No power, no heat, no lights. The only thing still glowing is the sunset, and it's the cruelest sunset of your life. Your phone is useless now, no signal, battery almost dead. All you have is the stuff in your pockets, a bent house key, a train pass that no longer leads to anything, and a candy wrapper from your sister. And then someone says the word, Fukushima. It's just a whisper, but it cuts through the murmurs. The nuclear plant, the reactors. The tsunami didn't just take homes, it took backup generators, it took safeguards, it took the one line of defense between Japan and invisible poison. But that's tomorrow's horror. Tonight, you curl up on a wooden floor, surrounded by cold strangers and colder air, with your sister's head in your lap. You don't sleep. Who could? At one point, an old man starts to pray. It's not dramatic, no chanting, no performance, just a low murmur to the mountain spirits, the sea gods, whatever might be listening. You're not religious, but you close your eyes and listen. Because if there's even the tiniest chance someone out there is watching, you want them to know you're still here. Morning doesn't bring peace, it brings fog. Thick, soupy, unnatural fog that swallows the town's bones in pale silence. You wake on the floor of the shrine with your sister still curled beside you, breathing shallow but steady. Your back aches, your lips are cracked, and your stomach is one long, empty howl. But you're alive. Some people didn't stay the night. They went back down when the aftershocks eased, searching for relatives, pets, their homes. Most haven't come back. A woman next to you keeps checking her wristwatch, as if time alone might rewind everything. Someone else has a radio, one of those clunky, battery-powered ones, and it crackles with updates. Massive casualties suspected, power plants offline, government emergency declaration. They're saying words like meltdown. You look at your sister. She doesn't understand yet, but you do. You finally leave the shrine around noon, walking carefully down the slope with your sister, your mother, and a few others. The road is buried under mud, twisted metal, seaweed, and shoes. So many shoes. You walk past a truck folded in half like paper, a couch tangled in power lines, a dead dog bloated and half frozen. You want to look away, but your eyes betray you. The landscape looks like war. Not a single building is untouched. Your house? Gone. Just the foundation remains, like a scar in the earth. A few chunks of wall. The mailbox? A warped frying pan you recognize because it used to squeak when it got too hot. You find your dad 2 days later. He's not dead. That's the miracle. He'd been working at the port when the wave hit. His team scrambled onto a shipping container that drifted, yes, drifted, inland like a weird raft. They landed in a rice paddy nearly 3 kilometers away. He walked the rest, barefoot, yelling your names. He looks thinner, older, but his voice cracks when he sees you, and he hugs you like he'll never let go again. That night, your whole family sleeps under a government-issued blanket in a temporary shelter, a high school gymnasium that smells like sweat, sea brine, and stale bread. The lights flicker. Your sister cries in her sleep. Somewhere, someone has a portable karaoke mic and quietly sings an old folk song until the power dies again. And you start hearing stories. People talk about the spirits walking the roads at night, about soaking wet figures asking for directions, then vanishing. Taxi drivers report picking up passengers who disappear before reaching their destination. Locals say the sea didn't just take lives, it stirred up something older, something unsettled. There's a legend in Tōhoku about the Funayure, ghosts of those who died at sea, still searching for closure. Historians roll their eyes, but it's hard to dismiss when a dozen cab drivers file the same eerie reports. Some shrines even hold mass exorcisms. You're not sure what to believe, but you stop walking alone at night. One day, while helping clear debris from what used to be your street, you find a waterlogged photo album. It's not yours, but it could be. Smiling faces, a graduation, someone's grandma holding a cat. You clean it gently with a towel and leave it at the community center. There are hundreds just like it, waiting for owners who may never come back. Quirky tidbit, among the most requested items in shelters were, wait for it, hot canned corn soup from vending machines. Comfort food never felt so literal. And in some areas, vending machines were the only stores still functioning for days. Weeks pass, then months. You move from the gymnasium to a prefab unit that smells like plywood and glue. The floor creaks. The water isn't always hot, but it's a roof. You find work hauling debris, later translating for foreign volunteers. You learn that healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in bites. A clean shirt, a working phone, a moment of laughter when someone slips on a stray daikon and everyone just needs to laugh. And slowly, painfully, life resumes.
And now, years later, when the fog finally lifts from memory, you sometimes walk along the rebuilt seawall. It's taller now, much taller. Concrete and steel, lined with sensors, cameras, warnings in 5 languages. It's supposed to protect you, but you still glance toward the ocean like it might rise again just for you. Your sister is taller, louder, she laughs more now. Your dad still flinches when he hears sirens, but he plants tomatoes in the new community garden and insists they taste better here, like the soil remembers what was lost. Your mom keeps an emergency kit near the door, always ready, always packed. Some things never change. The town is different. There are fewer people, more solar panels, and a new tsunami tower that no one visits unless there's a drill. But every March 11th, people gather with candles and quiet tears. Some bring flowers. Others bring radios to play the national news. A few bring old shoes they found in the mud, as if returning them might stitch something back together. You've learned to live with the ghosts, not just the eerie, vanishing kind, but the quieter ones, like the sound of your house creaking at night, or the taste of seawater in your dreams. They don't scare you anymore. They remind you of how strong you were, of what it cost, of who made it and who didn't. You don't forget. You don't forgive the sea either, but you do stand beside it sometimes, with your toes just barely touching the edge of the surf, and you whisper, "Not today." Thanks for sticking around through this story. It wasn't easy to tell, but if you made it to the end, you're tougher than you think. Take care of yourself, stay warm, and keep moving forward.